Hello, this is just my overview of the whole Genius Hour project and what I did to make my video game. So, the software that you're seeing now is GIMP. It's an image manipulation program where you could create different sprites. Let me do something like that. And you could just go in, draw some stuff, and be happy about it. So from that, you would just add more layers and whether or not to make the background transparent. For sprites, for video games, you would have to make the background transparent because in Unity, which I'll be showing you next, they'll have the background attached to the sprite. So you would want to have this checkerboarded background in order to do this. So then from here, you would export all my sprites as a PNG. Yeah, PNG. And then from there, you would go to Unity, and then you would put them all in your assets. Yes. So from here, I'm going to be showing you my whole night sprite sheet. So here you could see the sprites. They're on that transparent background, and they're all exactly the same except for some of their movements. So for the walking left movement, I did this. Walking right, I just flipped the image. For sword slash, I did that and just flipped it. And then for this, and for death, it's just this. Yeah, okay. Now for for this, you would see there's a lot more detail. I feel generally prouder about this because I put more detail into it rather than the night one, because I didn't know about the shades of gray that I could put on. I didn't want to make it look too flashy or anything like that. So here is his walking animation. It's just a side, like a grapevine sort of walk. Then there's the laser as it shoots out, then comes back in for these last two. And then here's all it flipped. So there you go. And from that, you could just drag and drop it onto this view of your game. That's what's going to be happening. So from that, you could just see all your images you put on and everything. So in this corner right here, we would just, it's a hierarchy. So okay, so as it's loading, the hierarchy is the order of which all the icons and sprites are put on the scene. So in Unity, they have a very simple 2D version. It's just exactly like the 3D. So at the beginning, when you start your project, you would just switch it to 2D, and then you would get the 2D plane. So for here, I got all the camera that's showing you the view of it. The platforms, which are these boards of flags on them. This background, which is just I just tiled this section here across 6 and by 5 there. And the Time Marauder guy right here, he's your playable character. And the AI, which is these knights, which I only have one right now. So as of that, if you were to click on one of them, you would see all this. So for the Time Marauder, I put a box collider. As you could see, these little squares around them. So if you were to hit one of these platforms or the knight, it would just stay there, because you wouldn't want it to go through, because that would just look weird, or you wouldn't want it to go through the floor. So and I put colliders on all the platforms, so he wouldn't sink through them. Because a rigid body puts gravity on the character, so it just fall to the ground and keep falling forever if there wasn't a rigid body underneath it. And okay, next I'll show you the scripts I have for the Time Marauder. So I got this C# script, which technically just allows the character to move with a speed of move X and move Y. So from learning math, you could tell what X coordinate is and Y coordinate is. So to start it, this would be the start of the thing, of the animation. And then the update is once per frame. So the movement, it would show the movement in the character for each frame. So move X, horizontal, move Y, vertical, get all that. And the rigid body here would create the move speed. So if we go back to Unity, and then okay, so if you go back here, move that. Okay, sorry, I just found a bug in my script, so I can't use those. And AI, I would say, is probably one of the most difficult coding to write, because you would have to make sure they follow the target, get everything on perfect, and make sure there's no bugs or glitches with them walking around in random places. So as I play my game, you would use the mouse keys to move the character, but since I do not know how to set the animations yet, he sort of just flies around everywhere. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Yes, another bug. As you can see, creating a game means there's going to be lots of bugs and glitches. And I think it's just the fact that I may have... Oh, I need to set the thing for there. Oh wait, for this it's too high, so I need to bring this down a little bit lower. So there you go. And when you do that, you always have to remember to save. So creating a game takes lots of hours of creating the code, as you can see here, and level layout. So pretty much all my things are just like this. For 2D games, you could have a side scroller, a top to down, and isometric means like sort of a 3D 2D game. But now I'll talk to you about the problems I had in order to achieve this. So in GIMP, as I was saying, you need to put the layer on transparent. So I didn't realize that until I exported all my sprites and like everything into Unity, and I realized they had the white background attached to them. So that was a total facepalm moment. And then I realized I had them on the background layer, so that's why it's all white back here. And then became really sad. That moment. Yeah, that was a pain, but what can you do? Really sad. Really sad. And then another moment another problem that I overcame was finding that my platforms kept disappearing into background. So then I was wondering, why would this disappear into background after I saved it? So then I realized I kept moving this background forward, like between layers, so that I would cover some of them, but it wouldn't cover all of them. So I put all the platforms on the same layer as the player layer, so that the player would be able to stand on them and the background would be behind it. And then for the camera, I found that it was way too far zoomed out. So then in order to fix that, I had to zoom it in, which I didn't realize was the size. So I kept fooling around with the clipping planes. Oh my god. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so then I found out that was the size that you had to adjust. So then that was another learning experience for me. And for the sprite sheet, not sprite sheet, coding. I had to realize that you have to put this in the fix instead of having it just as an update. Like normally it starts you off as just update. I have to put it in as fixed update so that it would constantly be updating instead of just having that one update at the beginning. So then from that you put in the axes, horizontal and vertical, and the movement speed. So then after that I thought you would put the speed where the star is. That's what I thought from learning my other coding language. But then in Unity, you would just go here to where your script is, and it would say speed. So then I learned that putting it on at 8 would be probably better than putting on like a 20, which would be like super fast. And I haven't got to the part where you could walk, but in my game you could just like fly around everywhere. It's quite amusing. You could like fly off the screen. I don't know, I just find that amusing that that's what you could do in a matter of weeks, just learning this whole not the whole software, but the 2D aspect of it, learning GIMP in a few weeks. So that's my overview. Thank you for tuning in to my overview of my Genius Hour project.